Good morning. Do we have any visitors this morning? From where? Florida. Welcome. Ohio. We say that Ahia. We say Ahia. Florida. Anybody else? Well, welcome to all of you. Yes? New York, the city. Well, welcome. Took the wrong subway. No, just ended up here. Well, welcome to you all this morning. Today we celebrate the feast of the body and blood of Christ, which also used to be known as the Feast of Corpus Christi, the feast of the body and blood of Christ. Now, for us to understand why we're doing this, we have to put it into its context within the liturgical year. 2 Sundays ago, we celebrated what? Pentecost, the coming of the Holy Spirit, the beginning of the church. And previous to Pentecost, we had celebrated the Easter season. So we had walked with the post-resurrected Christ, the Christ who had died. We had walked with him for 40 days as he prepared us for the establishment of the church, for the turning over of the church to us. And so the very next Sunday after Pentecost, we celebrate the first of the great doctrines of the church, that of the Holy Trinity. And today we celebrate the second great doctrine of the church. These two doctrines hold together the essence of who we are and what we believe. And what we believe is what God has told us about himself. So he told us that he is a Trinity. He told us that he is the creator and the redeemer and the sanctifier. He told us that all of that is him. And even though there's those three persons, there's still just one God. And so we know that because he told us. The second thing that he told us through Christ. And that was that Christ would abide with us forever, that he would be with us until the end of time. And he said that he was going to do that in a very simple way, through the elements of nurturance, through the elements of food and drink, that which we do in common. Every culture around the world, everybody eats and everybody drinks. And so he said, what better way for me to be abidingly present to everyone, but to take those common elements of bread and wine and to make them the symbol and, in fact, the essence of who I am in your presence. So every time you share the bread, every time you share the wine, every time you gather as my people, I will be with you. So that's his promise. And that's why we celebrate this as the central feast of the central doctrine, of our faith. That God is a triune God, but one, and he is also abidingly present with us through through his essence, as demonstrated to us through bread and wine, not in isolation, but bread and wine as it is celebrated within the community. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, I will be with you, and I will be with you in this special essence known as the Eucharist. Now, in order for us to understand this, we need to look at what the Eucharist is. Because the Eucharist itself, the elements of the Eucharist, bread and wine, are in themselves the story of Christ. If you look at bread, where does it begin its journey? It begins its journey as a seed. It is buried in the ground. That seed sprouts. It grows. It absorbs the sunshine. And as it grows, it produces more seed. At some point then, that wheat is cut, broken. And once it is broken, it is rooted from its place. It is then taken and it is ground. Sound like life? It is ground into a totally new essence. And then it is mixed with other elements, water, perhaps yeast. and then it is fired, put into the oven. Still sound like life? And then, once it has been uprooted, once it has been ground and smashed, once it has been kneaded and pounded, once it has been formed and remade into something totally new, thrown into the fire to be baked, it comes out. And what does it do?